I'll put it to you like this. It's like you have your very top tier elite tight ends. Everything else outside of that is desolate, I'd say, as the Wasteland in the Mad Max film series.
Oh, wow.
It's that bad.
Okay.
I'm not a proponent of like an early round tight end strategy typically, but going into this season, it's two names, and you've mentioned both of them that I'm very intrigued by. Mark Andrews is one. He looked great last year. I'm just thinking about the highlights, and I get a big grin on my face just thinking about it. And he's excellent from the slot over the middle of the field. He can even threaten defenses on the outside. I'm like, he's great. And then you've got
no Hollywood Brown there this year too.
No, you got a Ravens team that has like 267 available targets. And hey, I'm a Rashad Bateman guy. I think he's going to have a great season.
Thank you.
Yep.
But I'm like, this offense is still going to run through Mark Andrews, and he's someone I like him at his ADP. But he's also someone that can easily exceed expectations. Kyle Pitts is another one that I like, especially if you can get him at the top of the first round. Great option. The targets will be there. I'm not overly concerned about, he's catching passes from Marcus Mariota. Okay, I get that. Targets are targets. They're predictable.
What was that voice, by the way?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just came out.
Is that like some Twitter voice?
Is that your go-to when you're like trying to make a voice of someone making fun of you? Is that it?
I know it could be like a Twitter voice. Or it's just like,
Yeah.
Matthew, what about player A? What about player B? I'll do that
The
voice
critics,
for you on a video or
Do
something.
you have a
I can
voice?
read it,
What does your voice sound like
I
when
got
you do
My
it?
critic voice?
Yeah.
That's your critic voice?
That's it?
There we go.
Hey, Kyle Pitts only got one touchdown last year. Marcus Mariota stinks.
Marcus Mariota might be an actual NFL quarterback this
I
year.
think so.
I look. Kyle Pitts did all that and only he got so unlucky with the touchdowns. I have Pitts at 3. We all have Kyle Pitts at 3.
Is it those three, and then there is a jump there, or do you have George Kittle or anybody else in that first tier of tight ends?
Oh, the thing that worries me about with Kittle is, are the targets going to be there? Where you've got Brandon Ayuk, and then you've got Deebo Samuel. Keep my fingers crossed he's still there. I believe that he will. Yep. But he's just been really up or down. The thing with Kittle, when he goes boom for fantasy managers. He can win the week for you. But if I miss out on say Mark Andrews or Kyle Pitts, I'd rather just wait. Now, if you're in the double-digit rounds, it's like 4 names that come to mind that I would aggressively target that could exceed expectations. One is Dalton Schultz. I like Dalton Schultz. Cole Kmet, Evan Ingram. It may surprise people that I'm saying Evan Ingram. Hunter Henry. Kmet is someone that's really intriguing because he had the 8th most targets last year. Got Justin Fields that are coming back. Justin Fields probably priming himself for a make-or-break season. Life is short in the NFL. You can't underperform too long or you'll get replaced. So I think he'll have a monster season. But even with Dalton Schultz, you look at the Cowboys, he had 78 receptions last year.
Yeah.
Which the only other tight ends who had more were Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, and he's part of the high-octane Cowboys offense, and so he's still going to be in a position to do well. So those are just some names that come to mind where I'm like, if you're going to wait, I would just target some of those players.
Dalton Schultz has an optimal quarterback.
He does. He does.
And not
And
suboptimal. He's got an optimal quarterback. And by the way, Amari Cooper now in Cleveland, Michael Gallup recovering. There actually may be Dalton Schultz, who they brought back on a franchise tag as they continue to try to work out a long-term deal. But he'll be, just to give you an idea of what the Cowboys think about him. They did not want to lose him. They franchise tagged him. They made him, one of the higher paid tight ends in the NFL. And so
to start
with even less with less target competition, Schultz is a really interesting name here. But I think, Eric, what you're saying is, and this is a philosophy that I have as well, that I either at tight end this year, I either want to be one of the first guys in my league to grab a tight end or one of the last. That I feel like that there's enough depth and not enough separation between guys when you get into that range where I feel like I've got to reach for tight end 7,
right?
And I definitely can't have tight end 10. When you think about Dallas Goedert, now that a full year of Goddard with Zach Ertz. By the way, Zach Ertz in Arizona. And so there's a lot of guys there. And, I like a lot of the names you mentioned as well. I think people forget how much Doug Peterson uses the tight end. So if Evan Ingram can stay healthy, I think there's opportunity there in Jacksonville. We've talked about Gerald Everett now in Los Angeles with the Chargers.
And give me anybody on an AFC West roster as if I'm waiting late, why not? Who knows, right?
1,000%.
CJ Uzama's now with the Jets, right? Hayden Hurst now with the Bengals. They could score a ton of points. Who knows weeks where Hayden Hurst might go off. So there's super late names is all I'm saying there.
Yeah, 1,000%. Listen, Logan Thomas, people
Yeah.
call me a homer.
Logan
and they're
Thomas
right,
knows.
But like,
No, yes.
but Logan Thomas was elite, got hurt last year. We expect that offense to be significantly upgraded this year with Wentz under center. And Logan Thomas is going like tight end 15, 16, 17 in that range. Like, and so that's somebody who very recently was a top 5 fantasy tight end. So I think there's a lot of interesting names there as well.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.